Imagine you are walking through one of the most advanced data centers on the planet.
Right, like a massive server farm.
Yeah, exactly. Row after row of incredibly powerful artificial intelligence processors, all of them just crunching trillions of calculations a second.
The computing power is, I mean, it's practically limitless at this point.
It is, but if you look closely at how these multi-million-dollar machines are actually connected to one another, they are using technology that fundamentally hasn't changed in decades.
Right.
Copper wiring. We have essentially built the equivalent of a futuristic, sprawling mega city, but the only way to deliver materials to the construction site is down a single, crumbling, single-lane dirt road.
Which creates a brutal physical bottleneck.
Mm.
Your builders can be the fastest in the world, but if they're constantly waiting for delivery trucks to navigate a dirt road, the entire project just grinds to a halt.
Today, we are taking a deep dive into the hidden hardware revolution that is quietly keeping the AI boom alive. We're looking at the massive, high-stakes shift from traditional copper wires to light-based photonics.
It's a massive transition.
Huge. And we have a phenomenal stack of sources to pull from today. We're looking at tech journalism from Hedge, deep institutional financial research from Zacks Small Cap Research, Red Eye, and Simply Wall Saint.
That's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, and we are weaving in official company earnings reports from Sivers Semiconductors and Poet Technologies. Plus, we are pairing all of that with the raw, chaotic retail trading chatter happening right now on Reddit and Moomoo.
Blending highly technical engineering roadmaps with frantic stock market speculation gives us a remarkably complete picture of what is actually happening on the ground.
Definitely. And our mission for this deep dive is to shortcut your path to being totally well-informed on this highly technical shift.
Right.
Whether you are an investor trying to navigate the next big AI play, or you're just insanely curious about the physical reality of how the internet actually functions, understanding this bottleneck is absolutely crucial.
Oh, without a doubt.
So we are going to map out why the tech giants are abandoning copper, who is actually building the microscopic optical replacements, and how this technological leap has triggered a financial frenzy in the markets right now in May 2026.
To understand why a handful of relatively small tech companies are suddenly surging in value, we first have to, look at the massive roadblock hitting the biggest player in the entire AI space.
NVIDIA.
Exactly, NVIDIA.
Okay, let's unpack this. According to the tech reporters at Hedge, NVIDIA is making a hard, immediate pivot.
They have to.
Right. They are shifting their AI data center platforms to fully embrace silicon photonics and something called co-packaged optics, or CPO, by the end of this year, 2026.
Yeah.
Why this sudden, desperate urgency to ditch copper?
It really comes down to the inescapable physics of signal loss and heat.
Okay.
In these massive AI GPU clusters, data needs to move at blistering speeds. We're talking 800 gigabits per second and beyond.
Which is insane.
It is. And when you push electrical signals through copper cables at those frequencies, something called the skin effect happens.
The skin effect.
Yeah. The electrical current gets pushed to the very outer edge of the wire, which creates massive resistance. The signal degrades rapidly over very short distances. It is like trying to shout a highly complex technical message to someone across a crowded, noisy stadium.
By the time the sound waves reach them, the message is completely distorted.
Exactly. Completely garbled.
And the traditional fix for that distortion is just to, pump more electrical power into the signal to make it louder.
Right, which generates an incredible amount of heat.
Heat that then requires even more power to cool down.
Exactly. In a data center containing tens of thousands of connections, that power consumption spiral becomes completely unsustainable. You literally can't cool it fast enough.
Wow.
This is the exact problem co-packaged optics was invented to solve. Traditionally, optical modules, the little devices that translate electrical data into pulses of light, were separate components.
Like plugins.
Yeah, they plugged into the front of a server rack. But that meant the electrical signal still had to travel across a few inches of copper circuit board just to reach that pluggable module.
So even if the main highway is fast, you still have to drive your Ferrari down a congested, pothole-filled dirt road just to get to the on-ramp.
That is a perfect way to look at it. And that few inches of copper is enough to cause severe signal degradation at 800 gigabits per second.
Just a few inches.
Just a few inches.
Mm.
So co-packaged optics solves this by taking the optical engine and physically integrating it directly onto the same substrate as the main switch chip.
Oh, wow.
The electrical signal travels almost zero distance before it is converted into light,
Yes.
and the performance gains are staggering.
I saw the numbers. Signal loss drops from 22 decibels down to just 4 decibels.
Yes.
And power consumption is slashed from 30 watts per port down to a mere 9 watts.
It's a massive efficiency leap.
Instead of driving to the highway, it's like building a teleportation pad right inside your garage. The data just beams out as light instantly.
Beams out as light, exactly.
And NVIDIA is clearly betting their immediate future on this. They are launching the liquid-cooled Quantum-X InfiniBand switch in early 2026, which handles a mind-bending 115 terabits per second.
Right.
And in the second half of 2026, they roll out the Spectrum X Photonic Ethernet platform.
They are officially replacing electricity with light at the core of their architecture. There is no going back.
Wait, let me stop you there. NVIDIA is a multi-trillion-dollar juggernaut.
Yeah, they are.
They have a practically unlimited research and development budget. If this light-based shift is so critical to their survival, why don't they just build these microscopic lasers themselves? Why rely on external suppliers at all?
Because semiconductor manufacturing manipulating electrons is a completely different discipline than photonics manipulating light.
Okay.
NVIDIA designs the ultimate systems, the brain of the operation. But manufacturing microscopic optical components requires specialized foundries and decades of highly specific material science expertise.
They can't just spin that up overnight.
No, absolutely not. NVIDIA creates the massive demand. But they rely on an ecosystem of specialized innovators to provide the physical components. They need the picks and shovels for this light-based gold rush.
Which brings us to the two companies our sources are completely fixated on.
POET Technologies and Sivers Semiconductors.
Exactly. Let's look at the manufacturing nightmare NVIDIA is trying to avoid. If co-packaged optics is the goal, how do you physically glue a microscopic laser to a silicon chip without misaligning it by a fraction of a millimeter and ruining the light signal?
That exact manufacturing nightmare is what POET Technologies is solving.
How so?
Well, the historical problem in photonics is that combining different optical components like lasers, modulators, and detectors requires incredibly precise manual assembly.
Manual, like by hand.
You have robots or technicians painstakingly aligning microscopic lenses. It is slow, it is expensive, and it is highly prone to errors.
Sounds like a bottleneck in itself.
It was. So POET developed something called the optical interposer.
The research from Zax points to this interposer as their crown jewel. How does it actually route the light?
Think of it as a foundational base layer. POET's optical interposer allows discrete devices to be integrated into a single chip at wafer scale.
Wafer scale meaning?
Instead of assembling components one by one, they use standard semiconductor manufacturing techniques to print thousands of these interconnected pathways all at once on a single silicon wafer.
Oh, wow. Like printing a whole city grid at once.
Exactly. The interposer has built-in waveguides. These are microscopic tunnels that perfectly guide the light from the laser to the processor without needing manual alignment.
By eliminating that manual assembly entirely, the error rate plummets and the cost drops dramatically.
It makes the optical engine significantly cheaper, highly scalable, and much less power hungry.
And POET is aggressively capitalizing on this. As of late 2025, they are sitting on around $350 million in cash.
A massive war chest.
Yeah. They are moving high-volume production orders to Celestial AI, filling a $500K order for AdTram, and they just introduced a highly anticipated high-power hybrid laser called Blazar at the March 2026 OFC conference.
They're definitely making moves.
So POET builds the foundation, the microscopic plumbing system.
Right.
But plumbing is completely useless without the actual water, or in this case, the raw concentrated light. This is where Sivers Semiconductors enters the picture.
Yes. Sivers is a Swedish firm with specialized expertise in the actual light generation. They are a global supplier of advanced optical semiconductors, specifically focusing on high-power distributed feedback lasers.
DFB lasers. I saw that acronym all over the earnings report.
Yes, DFB lasers.
What makes a DFB laser different from, say, a standard laser pointer?
Well, a standard laser can be a bit messy. It emits light across a tiny range of slightly different wavelengths.
Okay.
But in a data center, you are using dense wavelength division multiplexing.
That is a mouthful.
It is, but it basically means sending multiple different signals down the exact same microscopic fiber optic cable at the same time.
Right.
To avoid those signals crashing into each other, you need a laser that fires at one single incredibly precise wavelength.
So it doesn't bleed into the other lanes.
Exactly. A DFB laser uses a microscopic corrugated grating inside the semiconductor, almost like tiny speed bumps, that forces the light to emit at one exact pure color.
That precision is what prevents data collisions when you are firing millions of signals a second.
Precisely.
And according to Sivers' February 2026 Q4 report, the demand for that precision is exploding. Their opportunity pipeline has grown to an incredible $453 million.
It's massive.
They have an expanding partnership with Ayar Labs, which is a major player in optical data transfer for AI data centers. Plus, they just won a $5.4 million chip development program with a Tier 1 telecom vendor.
There's also a fascinating note in the research we pulled from Redeye.
Oh, right, the rumor.
Yeah, they are tracking a persistent rumor regarding a Fortune 100 customer, which the analysts strongly suspect is Apple.
Wow.
The expectation is that this massive customer is preparing to ramp up production of a consumer product utilizing Sivers technology.
This raises an important question, though. I mean, if telecom giants, AI data center builders, and potentially consumer hardware companies like Apple all need these specific lasers, are we looking at something much broader than just an AI bottleneck?
What's fascinating here is how horizontal this technology is becoming. Look at Sivers' other partnerships.
Okay.
They are working on ISATCOM antenna panels with Doosan. They are developing 5G infrastructure with Tachyon Networks. They have even reached Technology Readiness Level 6, TRL-6, with the U.S. Army for defense contracts.
Just to clarify for anyone unfamiliar with military procurement, TRL-6 isn't just a blueprint on a whiteboard, right?
Far from it. TRL-1 is a basic concept. TRL-6 means they have built a fully functional prototype and successfully demonstrated it operating in a relevant real-world environment.
So it works outside the lab?
It means the technology works outside the lab, yeah.
Yeah.
What stands out to you when you look at these diverse revenue streams?
Me.
Yes. It highlights that photonics is not just a niche solution for AI. It is a fundamental global infrastructure upgrade across the board.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We have Poet, who figured out the microscopic plumbing system to route the light perfectly.
Right.
And we have Sivers, who builds the high-pressure fire hose of pure, precise light.
Yeah.
Because co-packaged optics is so brutally complex, neither company can really solve the NVIDIA bottleneck in a vacuum, can they?
No, they can't. The physical demands of co-packaged optics effectively force collaboration.
Makes sense.
In late 2025, Sivers and POET announced a strategic partnership to jointly develop external light source modules, ELS modules.
Okay.
These are specifically tailored for CPO and next-generation AI infrastructure.
Think of the Sivers DFB laser like a high-pressure fire hose of pure light. But if you just spray a fire hose at a highly sensitive computer chip, it's useless. It creates chaos.
Total chaos.
Poet's interposer is the microscopic plumbing system, the precise valves and pipes that safely catches that raw power and seamlessly routes it to the exact processors that need it without losing a drop.
The combination is incredibly potent. Sivers provides the raw, high-quality light power, and the POET interposer provides the low-cost, scalable integration platform.
And the timeline.
They announced that prototypes of these collaborative modules are rolling out in the first half of this year, 2026, with full production targeted for the end of the year.
So the underlying physics problem is solved, the manufacturing platforms are ready, the demand from giants like NVIDIA is verified, and the key innovators have joined forces.
All the pieces are in place.
This brings us to the financial reality of today, May 11, 2026. And the financial reality is, honestly, a bit chaotic.
We are witnessing a massive dislocation in the markets as investors try to price in a technological paradigm shift. Let's look specifically at the trading activity around Sivers.
Yeah, let's look at Sivers. According to a recent Simply Wall Street report, Sivers just delayed their 2025 annual report to May 15th, specifically to align with US PCAOB standards.
That is a massive signaling move.
Right. It shows they are laying the groundwork for a potential NASDAQ New York dual listing, opening them up to American institutional capital. But the stock price action over the last few weeks, it is violent.
Very violent. The data shows Sivers' share price delivering a 465% return in a single month.
Wow.
And an astounding 1,376% return over the past year.
It is interesting you mentioned the financial chaos because the analysts at Simply Walson are looking at this exact same stock and waving a massive red flag.
Yeah, they are.
They strongly label the stock as overvalued. They point out that it is currently trading at a price-to-sales ratio of 45.8x.
Which is high.
For context, the broader European semiconductor industry averages a multiple of just 4.4x.
Right.
At the time of their report, the market price was sitting around SEK 55.95. But Simply Walson's discounted cash flow model, their DCF model, suggests a fair value of just SEK 1.88.
That is a huge gap.
Massive. Even optimistic analyst targets sit around SEK 6.55. So by traditional financial math, it looks wildly, dangerously overpriced.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we are looking at a textbook market paradox.
How so?
Well, quantitative models like DCF and price-to-sales ratios are inherently backward-looking. A discounted cash flow model projects future cash flows based on recent historical trends and discounts them back to a present value.
Okay.
It is looking at Sivers' 2025 numbers, which showed a SEK 186.5 million loss on SEK 360.8 million in revenue.
So they were losing money.
Exactly. The model sees a company burning cash on research and development, assumes that burn rate continues linearly, and values the company at practically zero.
But the retail traders see something entirely different. Looking at the raw chatter from Reddit communities and forums on Moomoo, they are tracking a brutal short squeeze.
Yes, the short squeeze narrative.
There are detailed reports that a hedge fund named Colosseum is down 19.8% in a single month, largely due to a massive short position against Sivers.
The narrative tearing through retail channels is that this hedge fund is facing, quote, infinite losses.
Infinite losses? That's terrifying.
It is. Now, we're obviously not taking sides or endorsing the viewpoints of either the short sellers or the retail traders here. We're simply reporting the mechanics of the market in real time.
Of course.
But the retail investors are arguing that Sivers is completely mispriced by those traditional DCF models because a mathematical formula cannot account for a sudden mandatory technological pivot.
The retail argument is essentially who cares about last year's R&D losses when the entire multi-trillion-dollar AI industry is physically forced to buy their technology tomorrow just to keep functioning.
Right.
They are pricing in that massive $453 million pipeline. And here's how the short squeeze accelerates the chaos. If the short sellers borrowed the stock expecting it to go down, and instead it skyrockets, they are eventually forced to buy the stock back at the higher price to cover their positions.
Which is painful.
Extremely. And that forced buying creates an artificial demand spike on top of the organic technological hype.
You have quantitative, backward-looking reality colliding head-on with a future-looking necessity. The market is violently trying to assign a dollar value to a future where light replaces electricity, and it is causing incredible, deeply emotional volatility.
So what does this all mean? Let's bring this all together.
Okay.
The artificial intelligence revolution, driven by the massive computing power of giants like NVIDIA, hit a literal physical speed limit. Copper wiring simply cannot move data fast enough without melting down from power consumption.
Right.
To keep the AI boom alive, the industry demanded a leap to co-packaged optics using light instead of electricity. Innovators like PO8 Technologies figured out the microscopic plumbing to make this manufacturable at scale.
Yes.
Innovators like Sivers Semiconductors built the highly precise lasers to generate the light. And now, in the spring of 2026, the global financial markets are in an absolute tug-of-war, trying to figure out what the companies holding the keys to the future of the internet are actually worth.
It is one of the most profound infrastructure transitions of our lifetime. And I will leave you with a final thought to mull over.
I'd love to hear it.
We have spent the last 50 years shrinking electrical transistors, adhering to Moore's law, until we literally hit the atomic limit of what copper and silicon could handle.
We couldn't go any smaller.
We simply could not make the connections any smaller or faster. Now, we are beginning that exact same evolutionary journey all over again, but with photons.
Wow.
If we're already achieving 115 terabits per second just by doing a basic one-to-one replacement of copper wires with light beams, what happens when we start manipulating the quantum properties of that light itself? Have we just reset the clock on Moore's law for another 50 years?
That is a staggering thought. We finally paved the dirt road, but we might have just accidentally built a teleportation network that bends the rules of physics. We want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive. The shift from copper to light is happening right now, under the hood of every major data center on Earth, and the implications are everywhere. Keep exploring the sources, keep questioning how these technologies actually work, and we'll see you next time.